Hey guys, Bryan here from Liquid Concept. So today we're going to talk a little bit about hydro dipping a motorcycle tank as well as a front fender. So what we've got for you today is we're going to be doing just accent pieces on a motorcycle tank and the motorcycle front fender. And so what we've done is we've already got everything prepped out, we've already got everything ready to go, and so we're going to be dipping it today and showing you guys a few things and also showing you the end result on what we've done, so that way you can check it out. I think it's going to come out looking amazing. We're going to use some custom pearls that we've got, and it's definitely going to be a very unique, one-of-a-kind bike. So let's check it out and let's get started. So as you can tell, we do have everything taped off and already sprayed with this nice silver metallic color. So the one thing to remember on this is that we're actually only dipping accent pieces and not the entire part. This is definitely a little bit different than what we would normally do, but of course this is what the customer wants, so this is what we're doing. So as you can tell, we have the cutouts in the tank completely taped off. We've got very good lines all the way around, and then because this is a silver metallic paint, we wanted to make sure that everything is of course taped up as good as possible, so that way we've got little to no overspray across the entire tank all the way around, because it is a totally different color. So as you can tell on the fender itself, we do have everything taped off really nice. This is going to be more of a custom inlay. As you can tell, we have everything taped off on the outer edges, and we also do have a very nice little pinstripe running all the way down here that we'll reveal here in just a little bit, so that way you can see exactly how that's going to come out. But as you can tell, we have everything taped off and ready to go. Let's go ahead and let's get started on laying out the film, and let's get this thing dipped. All right, so let's go ahead and start with the fender first. At this point, it doesn't really matter which one we're starting with. Of course, we're going to be dipping both of them. The fender will be a little bit easier, just because all it's going to be is just a nice simple roll all the way down, and I'll show you guys what we're talking about on that. So with this fender like this is going to be a very simple, let's just see if we have enough room here. So all we're going to be doing is going like that and coming across. Now again, that's going to be really close, so let's just make sure that we have plenty of room, and let's go ahead and do it this way. So we'll take this, again, leave ourselves a couple of inches, come back up, and then now we know that we need a lot more going back up that way. So now that's going to be more than enough room for what we need. So we can set this over like that, and of course whenever we go to dip it, it's going to be just like that. We're just going to do a nice simple roll all the way in with it, so that way we can get a really good dip coming out. And of course, with it being the tank itself, we're still going to have plenty of room to do a dip right here and probably a dip right here. So that way we can do one side of the gas tank, the other side of the gas tank, and then of course we'll have this area right in here to use for the fender itself. Let's cut this off here. We'll set this back down again just to make sure on the width of it. So I think that's going to be more than enough right there. All right, so now that we've got this all laid out, everything looks really good. Of course, we're going to go ahead, get it activated. Now again, this is going to be a simple dip. This is going to be our CF282, which is our standard carbon fiber. And then of course, we're going to activate it, get it really glassed out smooth after a 60-second soak time on the water. And then once it's glassed out, then we're going to take and we're going to grab the fender and of course roll it either this way or that way, so that way we can go ahead and get all of it really nice and smooth all the way across there. All right, so now that we've got the fender dipped, let's go ahead and move on towards the tank itself. Now, after I laid this all out, you'll notice that I've got my lines already set on how I want that carbon fiber to go. So I want it to go this way, but what's funny is that is for this side. And then this line is gonna be for this side, which technically they are actually still the exact same. So not a big deal on that, but visually I can see that that carbon needs to be going this way whenever I am dipping that side. So definitely want to make sure that I get it the right way. So that's the reason why I have a visual indicator right through here to make sure that we get it set just right. Now, the other thing is that whenever we are looking at this, we actually had to lay out more film and cut more film, mainly because whenever we pull this up, we can see that we have this going this way, which means that our carbon is going to be going that way as well. And so we did have to go ahead and turn this and cut more film. Not a big deal, but we also want everything to look correct, and that way everything is going to go in the exact same way. So we may have to waste a little bit more, but at the end of the day, the customer is going to be a lot happier because everything is going to match going this way on both sides, as well as, you know, where it's going to match the fender itself. So let's go ahead and let's cut off some more of this film, and let's get this on the water and show you guys on the dip on this. Now, the nice thing about this is that we are only dipping this little side right in here. So of course, whenever we're dipping this, all we need to go is to about right here, and then we're done, and we can pull it straight back out of the water. Same thing with this. Whenever we dip this side, we can go all the way up to maybe right here, and then we can pull it right back out of the water. We're not doing the whole tank, so not a big deal on that, but all we're doing is just these areas right here. So a little amount of film that we need, but to get the entire tank to fit in there, we have to waste quite a bit of film. So just remember that whenever you're doing smaller sections with something like this right here, compared to if you're doing a bigger item or like a whole item or something like that. All right, so we've just got everything dipped here. Now, of course, we still need to rinse it, but looking at each side individually, everything looks really good. Now, you'll notice on this other side, whenever I had to dip it, you'll notice that I actually had to turn the tank the other way. That was my fault in that, on laying the film down on the wrong side, but we were still able to make it work. Everything came out looking really good. We've got our lines, which are going straight down, or I'm sorry, across diagonally like that, as well as we have our lines going diagonally like this right here. And so of course, that is exactly what we had wanted. And so now we can go ahead and rinse it. Again, all of this is going to be completely gone, and all we're going to be left with is just these two cutout sides right through here. And of course, we have our tank right, or our fender right here, that we've also dipped as well. So let's go ahead, let's get this rinsed, get it all done, and show you guys the end result of what we're about to do. So once we've got everything all prepped out and ready to go, this is something that's going to be very unique because we are actually going to do this with two separate layers. So the first layer is only going to go on mainly where the dip is, and then the second layer is going to go over the entire part. And so what it's going to do is it's going to allow the pearl to be more concentrated around in the dipped area compared to all around the entire tank. So first coat, we're going to go ahead and spray this just on the dipped areas alone. As you can tell on the fender, we're trying to focus mainly on the fender itself, and we're only doing it on the dipped area. Moving on to the gas tank. The gas tank, we're going to do the exact same way as we do the fender. We're going to focus the spray on the area that we've dipped, which is just in those recessed cutout areas like that. So now that Tyler has got both the fender and the gas tank already sprayed and flashed off with the first coat of pearl, now we're going to move on to the second coat of pearl. The second coat of pearl is going to be a more overall coat, so we're going to make sure that we hit everything overall, as well as we're still going back over the actual dipped part of the tank and the fender as well. So now that we've got the overall on the entire tank as well as the fender itself, now we're going to work on making sure that everything is completely covered. We don't have any light spots or heavy spots, and we're going to make sure that everything looks 100% the way that it needs to, and it's very uniform and all of that. As you can see here in these shots, we've got Tyler going through and he's hitting little areas here and there, and we're also doing a very, very light overall pass over the entire thing. This helps blend out the pearl and make sure that everything looks really uniform, as well as making it really pop whenever that sun hits it. Now that we've got the pearl already sprayed and down onto the parts themselves, we're going to go ahead, let this flash off, let it dry, and move on to clear coating. So clear coating is going to be the exact same way, just like the pearl was, except we're just going to lay down 2 wet coats of clear, and then we're going to finish it off with any buffing that might be necessary after the job is all finished. So first coat of clear is going on. As we were saying before, you want to make sure that we get a good wet coat over the entire thing. That way we can make sure that we get a good overall coverage across the entire tank and the fender itself. So let's go ahead and add on that second coat of clear coat and make sure that that thing looks like glass before we leave the booth. So Tyler does a great job at showing us how to do this, and you can see he is keeping the paint gun perpendicular to the part all the way around, as well as hitting any little areas that might need it to make sure that we get a good uniform coverage across the entire part, as well as a fully wet, glassed out look all over the tank and the fender itself. Now that we've got everything all clear coated, we're going to let this sit and let it flash off, let it dry, and then come back and show you guys the end result. All right, so we've got it all finished up and these came out looking amazing. We are super happy with it. I think the customer is definitely going to be very impressed with it. And of course, as you can tell, we have pearl over this entire thing, and we've even shot the extra pearl over just the areas that we dipped, which makes it a completely one-off custom job. I think the customer is definitely going to really love that. So hopefully this video has really helped you guys out. If you have any questions or comments, definitely leave them below. We'd love to hear from you on anything hydrographics related. Also, if you haven't already, definitely hit that subscribe button. We'd love to have you subscribe to our weekly tips and tricks on anything in the water transfer printing industry. Also, if you get a chance, definitely check out the website. The website has everything that you're gonna need for anything that you wanna do with the hydrographics. I'm Bryan from Liquid Concepts, and this is how we customize your world. We'll see you guys next time.